Our Volvo runs 10s at over 130 mile an hour, but because we're idiots, we're going to make it even faster. For those of you just joining us, we have a Volvo. There it is right there. It's an 83 Volvo that we bought as an unfinished project. It came with a 1JZ motor in it. Nothing was hooked up, so we put a Haltech in it, made it run. We put a turbo 400 in it because the original transmission was just trash. We've upgraded the diff. It now runs 1045 at 131 mile an hour, which is pretty insane for a Swedish bread box. It is seriously fast. But the turbo is getting maxed out. So it runs a turbo like this, pretty much the brother of this turbo. We used to run this one and that one on a twin turbo LS1 in our little Mazda MX-5. When we went to the 6-cylinder, we didn't need 2 turbos anymore, so one turbo went on the Mazda, one turbo went on the Volvo, and they both did pretty well. So on the Mazda, it made good power, just about over 500 rear wheel horsepower. On the Volvo, the same, 530 horsepower at the rear, but kind of maxed out at that point. So we want more power, and this is the way we're going to do it, with a new turbo. So we bought this through VPW. It is a Pulsar G series, or G35 basically, G35 1050 they call it. So bigger compressor wheel. It has a T3 flange, so it'll still bolt on our manifold. It has a V-band on the rear, so it will be pretty easy to fit. They reckon this turbo is good for 1,050 horsepower. That's flywheel, of course, but still 1,050 horsepower out of a small frame turbo or mid-frame turbo like that. So, you know, that is a lot of power. 1,000 horsepower turbos used to be a lot bigger than this. But what we want is somewhere north of 600 rear wheel horsepower. That is enough to put the Volvo into the 9s and make us very happy. So let's get about putting this on the car. There she is in all her glory. There's more fluid coming from that than... Wow! There was a lot of pressure in there. It's interesting. Where did all that come from? We haven't run this car in a while. Well, you have served us well. Now, your time has ended. Oh, he just dribbled on me. Ugh. Something else we're going to upgrade while we're here is the exhaust studs. We have these shiny new titanium exhaust studs from ProFlow. They're lighter, they're stronger, they're shinier, and obviously less prone to corrosion. Stock studs over time, heat cycles and that sort of thing, they can snap, they can get corroded. There's all sorts of problems that can arise, you know. So upgrading to titanium is going to be a good upgrade. It just means we have to pull off the exhaust manifold there, which is a slightly painful job. But once we've done it, it's done. And I don't think we're ever going to do it again. Anyway, let's get them in. Cool. There we have it, one manifold. So to remove our studs, we're going to use stud remover. Very handy device, very simple. Basically, it just rotates, locks onto the stud and just winds it out. I'll show you how. They're so light. Now it's time to fit our titanium studs. Now VPW recommend using anti-seize on both ends of the thread, which we will do. We think it's a good time to use anti-seize whenever you're going into an alloy thread anyway. They're also got Allen keys in their heads to aid installation, which is very handy. Time to lube up. So now, manifold back on, we get our fit our fancy nuts and washers, all titanium as well. They are ridiculously light. Yeah, space age materials, eh? Anyway, so we'll anti-seize those studs, get our manifold on, studs and nuts, washers, all that stuff. Let's get it on. Get our new turbo on here. Tell you what's not light is our stainless manifold. She's thick and chunky, like some girls I've known. Cool. All right, now we've got our manifold on. We can look at putting our turbo on, but I think we have to transfer some fittings first, so let's go look at that. Right, so it is turbo time, and we've got a couple of things we need to change here. We've got to take our water fittings out of our old turbo, put them in our new turbo. We also have to change the clocking of the turbo slightly, not only of the compressor cover. As you can see, it is facing the wrong way. It's facing that way. It needs to face that way, but the actual center cartridge as well is 180 degrees out, so we're going to have to spin that around so the oil feeds at the top, oil dump is at the bottom, and clock it the same way as the turbo was in the car. Not a big job, but just fiddly. You just got to make sure you got it right. It makes things easier when it goes time to put turbo into car. You know, don't put turbo in car and then go, oh, all this stuff is the wrong way around. Compare it on the bench, do it on the bench, and that way it makes it easier back over there on the car. Right, so just make sure that your oil return is the same type, same size. Ours on our old turbo is much wider bolt spacing, so we need to get a new oil return adapter for our new turbo. They're all in fairly standard sizes. It seems 39mm centre to centre, so we'll just go check the parts catalogue and see who makes that. I'm sure ProFlow does. Drain adapter is 227. Oh, that looks, yeah, 38mm by the looks of it. So we've just dummy fitted the turbo, just lining things up. Now, just because of the way our pipe work is, we've got two ways we can do it. We can do what we did on the other turbo, which is weld an elbow on the compressor cover, or we can extend our intercooler piping. Just trying to work out which is the best method. And, well, we've already got the elbow there. Maybe I'll just cut it off that old cover and get the boys to weld it onto our new turbo. Questions, decisions. What shall I do? Let me think it over. Okay, so we have made an executive decision. I'm going to extend the intercooler pipe by that much, which is about 100mm. I decided to go that way because as much and as well as the compressor cover mod worked, this is a brand new turbo. I don't really want to weld stuff to a brand new turbo. Let's weld it to our intercooler pipe instead and just use a silicon bend. Everything will be right with the weld. All right, I'll whip this off. I'll take it down to our mates at Max Performance and see if they can stick it together for us. There we have it. Cool. One bead. So just removing the turbo now. We had it sitting on there, but remove it, get this oil drain on there, and then we can bolt it back up now that we know everything fits. And yeah, hopefully very soon make boosty noises. It's almost ridiculous to imagine this turbo is capable of 1,000 horsepower, you know, at the crank, not at the rear wheels, but still, if we make 600 rear wheel horsepower out of this thing, that will be amazing. And with 600 rear wheel horsepower, I think the Volvo will be in the 9s. All right, so what I've done is I've split the turbo and I've put the turbine housing on. It's just easier to do it that way because it is a V-band that separates the turbine from the cartridge. it's very easy to slip it back on, do the V-band up, put it all back together. All the fittings are on the front side. Turbine housing's on, so now I can slide in the cartridge, just put on my oil return, do it up, V-band on, and the turbo will be on and done and clocked correctly. It looks more complicated, but it actually works. Once we've done that, then it's oil and water lines, and yeah, we're going to be ready to fire this thing up very shortly. So we have our intercooler pipe. Boys have just walked it up. It is extended. It was about there before, now it's there. So I'm just going to do a final clean through of it. I've blown air through it. I've sprayed carby cleaner through it. I'm just going to do a quick pull through. Just make sure there is no junk in there. No one wants junk in their engine. Anyone that's done any shooting will know this is like cleaning the barrel of a gun. Come on. There we go. That should be nice and clean now. Right. Down and up and down and up and down. And up and down. So the intercooler pipe is on. Now we're just wastegate, dump pipe, exhaust system, and we're done. So our shiny new turbo is on. Looks awesome. I guess we should see if it starts. Let's hit the key. I'm amazed we got that much out of it given how cold it is in here. This thing does not like a cold start. Might have to sit in it. So there we have it, it runs and nothing seems to leak. So I'll call that job well done. So there we are, we got our Pulsar G35 1050 on there. It should be a ripper. I mean, we're hoping for somewhere north of 600 rear wheel horsepower, and if this little 1JZ makes that, this car's going 9s. I mean, I know it sounds crazy, stock bodied Volvo running 9s, but that sort of power will do it, especially with the turbo 400 and the diff gears that we've got. Yeah, pretty confident we'll see 9s out of it. So big thanks to VPW for sourcing obviously our Pulsar turbo for us, and of course our titanium exhaust studs, which look amazing. And then of course the guys at Max Performance for doing some welding for us on that pipe. But she runs, I have no doubt it actually drives as well, because we didn't change anything there. But next step is put it on the dyno, do a retune, because obviously the turbo is totally different map to the old turbo, so therefore the tune is going to be totally different. So Zane will have to work his magic there. He'll do a little bit of adjusting here and there, and hopefully, like I said, 600 rear wheel horsepower. That would be awesome, and you're going to see all that in a future episode of Carnage.